I'm here to talk about The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. It is a young adult sci-fi novel, and I'm going to start out by reading a passage from the very beginning so you can get a feel for Douglas Adams' voice. Far out in the uncharted backwaters of the unfashionable end of the western spiral arm of the galaxy lies a small, unregarded yellow sun. Orbiting this at a distance of roughly 98 million miles is an utterly insignificant little blue-green planet whose ape-descendant life forms are so amazingly primitive that they still think digital watches are a pretty neat idea. This planet has, or rather had, a problem, which was this. Most of the people living on it were unhappy for pretty much most of the time. Many solutions were suggested for this problem, but most of these were largely concerned with the movements of small green pieces of paper, which is odd because on the whole, it wasn't the small green pieces of paper that were unhappy. And so the problem remained. Lots of the people were mean, and most of them were miserable, even the ones with digital watches. So that kind of gives you a taste of Douglas Adams' sense of humor. Very dry, very English. A little summary of the story. The protagonist is human earthling Arthur Dent. He is kind of an everyman, leads a pretty normal life in England. He meets up with Ford Prefect, which is another protagonist of the story later, who is a humanoid alien. He picks the name Ford to fit in with the most dominant life form on the planet, which happens to be a Ford car. So it just kind of gives you another sense of Adams' sense of humor there. He takes Arthur off the planet just in time before it's destroyed by the Vogons to create way for an intergalactic superhighway. And on his adventures, Arthur will meet Zaphod Beeblebrox, who is the president of the universe at the time, newly elected on the run, and Trillian, who is the other remaining human left from the destruction of Earth. And Marvin, the paranoid android who is programmed to be constantly depressed and paranoid. And we find out later that Ford is a researcher, intergalactic researcher, and Earth is actually a supercomputer which is programmed with a 10 million year program to answer the question, what is the meaning of life, the universe, and everything? So, a lot of funny content there, a lot of really deep philosophical questions raised by Douglas Adams. But anyway, I think this book would be great for 7th to 9th grade. It's really lighthearted humor by Adams and a lot of simple forms of satire, introducing them to some soft kind of sci-fi themes, and cultural diversity in the form of alien life forms and accepting such diversity. So 7th to 9th grade, classic novel, great book.